So everything you say from now on will haunt you for the rest of your life. There you
No
go.
problem.
So anyway, oh, look at all of that beautiful stuff behind you. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of your stuff on your website just this morning, and wow. I
Yeah,
I'm I love color. I really, really love color. And
I do too.
so tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got started in yarn.
Well, I'm Daniel. I own Paw Ply Yarn Co. Um, there's not really a lot to say about myself apart from I love yarn. um, I'm I'm 24 years old. Based
24?
in 24, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm still a little
Never
baby.
mind. I'm just old. I'm old. Never mind me.
I'm based in Scotland, um, usually from the south of England. I started Paw Ply Yarn Co. in 2019, late 2019, when I went to a workshop down south. I did a dyeing workshop with a brilliant yarn dyer based in the UK. Um, and ever since then, I started Paw Ply Yarns, and the rest is history, to be honest. Um, yeah, so it all basically started from a dyeing workshop, and then I set things up. What I did the workshop in March, and then I set things up in the December. So yeah, that's basically how I started the company.
So your timing was pretty good. It was just a few months before the world changed completely.
Yeah, well, it's been hard. Like obviously, I started in December. I didn't start trading until January. But yeah, I obviously it was a slow couple of months to begin with. But I did a pop up shop in one of my local yarn shops in February, and then obviously COVID hit in the March, and then we went into total lockdown.
So so you've well, obviously you've been successful because you're still at it. At least you're making a living.
Yeah, I don't I don't earn my money from the business. Like the business isn't generating enough cash flow to be able to pay myself a wage from it at the moment. So I do have another job on the side, um, just to keep the money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I do the yarn on the side basically.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
tell us about the yarns that you do. Tell us about the dyeing technology. What sort of dyeing do you do? What kind of fibers do you use? What kind of dyes
Um,
do you use?
I mainly use the regular superwash merino nylon base. I do have some alpaca and some what's the other one? Some BFL Blueface Leicester in stock at the moment. Um, I haven't really looked at any other bases at the moment. I am looking into getting other bases because I have had some feedback that people want certain bases and stuff like that. But at the moment, I have just stuck to the regular superwash merino nylon 4-ply. I have got some DK, but not much because that's not selling very well at the moment. So
Hmm.
I'm trying to keep things to the popular bases that are selling.
Well, that only makes sense, especially if you're
Yeah.
not exactly breaking even yet. Um, so then, what sort of dyes do you use?
I use Dharma acid dyes. I find it easier. I have thought about trying some natural dyeing techniques, but I haven't got round to trying that yet. So I just stuck to the dyes that I used in the workshop that I did back home, because I just thought it'd be easier just to stick to what I know and go from there, basically.
That always makes sense when you're starting out a business. You
Yeah,
do what
definitely.
you know, and then you branch out. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
what would you say? I spent many years in the corporate world. So, what would you say is your unique value proposition or your unique selling proposition? What do you have that other people don't?
I don't know. Like, I follow plenty of dyers on Instagram and things like that, and I do have other dyers yarn that I use myself. Um, but I don't know because there's so many wonderful dyers out there. Like, I just I just try and like my yarn. My yarn is not to everyone's taste because I do stick to certain colours. Like I love my blues and my reds. So maybe I do play it a little bit too safe. I don't know. Maybe I'm just scared of going a bit more out there with my colours. Because there is some dyes out there that do go big and like really bright. Um, but maybe because I don't dye many feminine colours, I do try and stick to colours that everyone could use, male or female. Um, just because there's loads of dyers out there that I have noticed that do mainly dye more feminine colours, and I'm not the type of person that likes to use pinks and purples. I do like to include pinks and purples for people that like those colours, but I stick to the more gender neutral colours, if you know what I mean. Colours that everyone
So,
can.
okay, yeah. So you're saying that red and blue are your favorites,
Yeah, red
as
and
well
blue.
as neutrals,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it's so they're closer to more primary colors
Yeah,
rather than you mentioned pinks and purples as colors that you don't necessarily do.
yeah. I do have pinks and purples and stuff, but I tend to like sticking to colours that I like
Do you do
rather.
things that are exciting within the red and the blue
Yeah, like,
spectrum?
let me see
Spectra.
if I can find one on my rack. This colour, for instance, this was one of my Christmas colourways, which was extremely popular, which you probably saw on my website. Oh,
Oh, I love that.
so it's got the different. Oh, it's got different shades of brown, and it's got speckles, light speckles in it down here, and it comes with a mini as well. This was one of my Christmas colorways, really popular, and it
Like
has
that.
a bright red. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I do try and mix it up a bit, and I have got. Where's the other? There's the other one. This has got pink in it.
I like that as well. But
But it's pink and yes.
honestly, I think the first one that you showed me just a second
Mm-hmm.
ago, that seems
This one.
more original, more
Mm-hmm.
like that says you. Whereas
Yeah.
the other one, while it's really beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
there are other people out there doing the same thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
So, um, so I mean, beautiful is a good thing, and beautiful sells certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I see something just above what I think is your left ear. It might be a mirror image. Um, other side, up on the corner, right there. Yeah,
That one.
yeah, that looks. From this angle, that looks a little orange.
This one.
Oh my goodness! Close up, it looks so different from a distance.
Yeah, this is it's got like it has got pinks in it, but it's also got green and yellow. But I love this one.
Yeah, so I'm getting an idea that you like really bold color, much more than what some people might call subtle colors.
Yeah.
Because I see some like really bold colors behind you as well, and everything on the rack behind you is beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the one that you just had in your hand. I like everything that you have shown us so far. It's really nice stuff. So have you always been into yarns and yarn crafts?
No. I only got into yarn crafts when I got married. This was what, 6 years ago.
You got married at 18?
19 I got married.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 19 when I got married. I was engaged at 17, married at 19.
Oof.
So basically, my partner started knitting. And then I thought, oh, because I can't knit. But I thought, oh, I'm going to give crochet a go. So I got a amigurumi kit from a yarn shop, and I gave it a go, and I loved it. So basically, since then, I've been crocheting. I have tried to knit, and I can knit, but I find it difficult. But I love crochet.
Me too. I have it in my hand right now.
Yeah, love crochet.
Oh, you just turned away as I was showing what I was doing.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
And I love color too. So if you've seen what's on my Instagram, you see that I really love color. Yeah,
I've seen.
Bad photos of really colorful things. But yeah, so yeah, you got into crochet because your partner, you said he was knitting, did I?
Yeah, he knits. He knits.
Do you know what's funny? That happened to me the same way.
Wow.
My partner, I had gotten him a beginner's knitting kit for a Christmas gift one year because he had another hobby that annoyed me that I wanted him to stop.
Him to stop, I guess.
So, but he very quickly became an expert knitter, and then he came up with the idea that that we would be a bistitchual couple, and he would knit and I would crochet, and well, that's where the whole bearded yarn dudes idea came up.
I did wonder if it was your partner, because I was like, oh, have you got a partner? Because I've seen your podcast and you're like bearded yarn dudes, and I wondered, oh, is that your partner? Is it, or is it?
Was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no longer. We're still good friends, and that's a lovely thing. And he very kindly allows me to use the bearded yarn dude's name, which I think is useful for me. But anyway, that's how I got into crochet, because I had learned it a little bit as a child. Did you ever have anyone as a child teach it to you? I had my grandmother when I was like 10.
My grandmother taught me to knit when I was quite young. I don't even know how old I was, but I was quite young. She gave me some scrap yarn and an old set of knitting needles, and she taught me how to do it. I don't know why I didn't get into knitting, seeing as I grew up with my nan knitting, but I just couldn't get to grips with it. I still can't get to grips with it. I still struggle, and I still make silly mistakes, and it frustrates me. So that's why I stick to my crochet.
Exactly, exactly. Because crochet, I make enough mistakes with my crochet that I
Mhm.
don't need the added aggravation of knitting. I know I learned a little bit of knitting, but it's still a mystery to me.
Yeah, it's the same with me
Um,
too.
but I think I do okay with my crochet work.
Hmm.
Now, I love beautiful yarns like you have.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
um, so where do you see your business going with the yarn
I'm hoping.
distribution?
I'm hoping to own my own shop at some point. There have been small discussions with my mum, because she's not into knitting or crochet, but she's into the craft, and she wants to open a shop with me, when we do move back home, because we don't plan on staying up here long term. Um, but there has been discussions with my mum to open up a shop down south when we move back.
Well, let me
So
ask you this: the past year has shown us that brick and mortar shops are not necessarily all that much. Well, they're not really all that much of a necessity. That businesses can operate very well without a retail outlet. Do you
exactly,
suppose? And I imagine that's how you've been going so far,
yeah.
with doing online business. Um, where do you suppose you would draw the line where you think it would become more advantageous to have a brick and mortar shop than to just stick to the internet business?
It's a very risky option to take, because obviously it doesn't necessarily work out the way you hope it will. Um, but I'm willing to take risk. If you don't take risk, you never know where things could go. I could be sticking to doing my online business and attending festivals and things like that, and not go to open my own shop. But I could open my own shop and it could go really well. This, I'm. It's just one of those things that you don't know until you do it.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly, and I'm a big one for taking risks. I've taken a lot in my life. I've learned a lot too. Um, but okay, so um, what is your time frame in that sort of business development thing?
it will be years down the line yet. Um, at the moment, I'm very happy sticking online and going to. Well, I haven't actually been to any physical festivals yet because of COVID. Um, I'm quite happy the way things are at the moment, and it'll be a good 5, 6, maybe even 7 years before that even happens. If I'm still dyeing yarn at that point, it all depends what happens because you never know what's around the corner. Um, but yeah, it's going to be many years down the line before that happens. Yeah,
Hmm. Well, the good thing about having an internet business is it's completely portable.
exactly. I
Um,
can take it wherever I go.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I
I
love
mean,
being.
go ahead.
I love being online. I've met so many wonderful people, and it's been amazing about how supportive the knitting and crochet community actually is. Starting out the business, I did worry because I was like, "Oh, what if it doesn't kick off? What's if I start it up, spend all this money starting it up, and then it totally flops?" But it's been amazing how supportive everyone has been, and I'm just thrilled with how well it's actually gone. Even though I started just before COVID, but yeah, I'm amazed how well it's gone even with COVID.
Yeah, I think that a lot of online businesses have actually benefited from the whole pandemic and the
Mhm.
shutdown and everything, um, which is sort of a cynical way to state things. But I'm a cynical kind of guy. Um, but it's I think we have seen how flexible business can be,
Mhm.
where people, especially higher ups, managers, people in power, were not willing to admit before this how flexible it could be. For
Mhm.
instance, in the corporate world, a lot of people have been able to work very successfully from home,
Mhm.
where before now, um, that was not really allowed, even if it was possible.
Yeah.
Um, where was I going with this? I don't know. I get off on these tangents, but I think that the online business model will continue to grow
Yeah,
for
I
people.
agree. I agree because I was having this conversation with my husband. I said the high street is going down now. Like there's going to be nothing left open. I think, as you said, COVID has proved that online business can thrive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
And
even, yeah, exactly. Even before the pandemic, um, brick and mortar businesses were challenged, but
mhm,
now, oh my goodness, I
mhm,
see, you know, closing or business closed signs in shop windows all the
mhm,
time.
mhm. I
Um,
agree. I
and
just
it's only,
think I
go
just
ahead.
think that I don't think before the pandemic, I don't think people realised how much easier it is to shop online. And I think now, I don't know if it's the same in America, but we're having to social distance, wear masks in shops, we're having to queue up 2 meters apart to get into shops. And I think people are starting to realize it is much easier to shop online. And it's a better way of dealing with things, like rather than having to drive your car to the shops and having to queue and wear your masks. You can just sit in your home on your sofa with a cup of tea or coffee, whatever you drink, and just do your shopping there.
Out in public, on this side of the pond, those rules are stated, but enforcement is inconsistent, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I would agree. People are seeing, and it's funny how a lot of businesses have just changed to meet with the times. A lot of them have developed these whole new online delivery services
Mm-hmm.
to to meet the current need,
Mm-hmm.
um, and and that's a good thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I can't open my front door without there being a package for my sister, who is always ordering something. Oh my god! Ah, ah. I mean, I live with my sister in our late mother's house, so
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting, because we're both old and single.
Mm-hmm.
um, so anyway, so we were going with this whole business model thing. The online business model, um, will, I think we both agree that it will continue to thrive,
Mm-hmm.
and grow and evolve. Everything evolves, and people aren't always prepared for that, but
Mm-hmm.
things do evolve. Yeah.
Definitely. Like obviously there is local yarn shops that I do love and I do support when and where I can. Um, and I love the owners, but even they have started doing online shops now because obviously with COVID, it's been easier because they've had to shut down because of COVID and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even they started doing online shops, and I just think it's a really good way of spreading business, especially for those that can't get to these local yarn shops because they can just post it out to you. So much more convenient.
Now, on our side, there have been issues with the postal service from time to time being slowed down
Yeah.
of the pandemic, because
Mhm.
of manpower, for all sorts of reasons. And
Mhm.
then shipping internationally is difficult. Do you know? Not too long ago, I shipped a uh, a garment I had made to a friend in Italy, and
Mhm.
I shipped just just a very small piece to another friend in Canada. Canada is
Mhm.
much closer. The
Mhm.
package was much lighter, but it cost much more to send to Canada than it
Oh,
did to Italy.
I wouldn't have
So,
expected.
well, neither did I. But anyway, yeah, it's so postage. That's a totally that is a consideration as well, because that is dependent upon the government.
Mhm.
That is dependent upon a lot of different things. Uh, um, but still, it can be a very reliable way of delivery.
Yeah, like I totally agree because I've shipped out plenty of packages to the US over the pandemic. Like I think the US has been my mainstream of orders over the pandemic. Um,
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So we'll have
um,
to talk offline, because I really want some of your yarn.
but only just recently have I started the shipment starting to slow down in terms of getting there.
Mm.
They tend to get over there okay. They just stick in one place for a long period of time.
Once they have reached our shores, you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Even more recently, I've noticed even on our side over here, it's taking longer to get over there. Um, because only recently have I noticed on the last shipment to the US I sent, it was in London for a good 5 days before it even got on the plane.
Oh.
And then it got over to Chicago, and then it was stuck in Chicago for nearly 2 weeks before it moved anywhere. I guess that's just staff shortages and the amount of packages they're probably having is probably very overwhelming for the postal system at the moment, because people are scared to go out and about. Um, but yeah, it's just the way things work. Like the postal system's still very reliable. Don't get me wrong. I've never had a problem with the postal system before. It may take a bit longer to get there, but I think the wait's usually worth it, especially if it's yarn.
So I was looking at some of the products on your website, and let me see. I made some notes, and of course, not surprisingly, I can't find them right now. Here they are. Okay, I saw there were some skeins for 16 pounds and a
Mhm.
few for 10 pounds. You know,
Mhm.
that's what we go. And I did a conversion, and so say someone on our side of the pond
Mhm.
wants two 10-pound skeins.
Mhm.
What, I mean, just off the top of your head, what do you suppose the postage for that would be?
So my £10 skeins are usually my 50-gram skeins.
Mm-hmm.
The postage off the top of my head, I think the postage for 100 grams is about £14.
14 pounds?
Yeah, for 100 grams.
Oh, and as of today, 1 pound is $1.41.
Mhm.
So what? Oh, I'm trying to remember my multiplication tables. 14 times 14 is what? 296. That would be 2960. And then the 10-pound skein itself, two of them would be about $28.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a reason I go for discount yarns here.
Yeah, it is. The postage is very pricey, and I've had many US customers question me that the right amount of money has been taken from their bank because it is so pricey.
And
And
it does change daily too. The
yeah,
rate
it's on a
changes.
daily basis. Yeah. So like today, it could be £1 is $1.46 or something, and tomorrow it could be the pound is $1.25. It varies on a daily basis.
You know, it's funny. When I was a kid, probably before you were born, my first trip to England with a school group. This was in the early 80s. I'm sure it was before you were born.
Yeah.
But at that time, a pound was $2.25.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe at one point it was pretty consistently £1 was $5. That was, long before I was born. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that standard held for quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, money's weird.
Mm-hmm. Very.
It's one of those things that nobody understands. Everybody wishes he had more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, yeah. The exchange rate confuses me all the time because say you ordered something from me today, it could be a completely different price to what you'd pay even an hour later, for instance, because it's changed. That the exchange rate's changing constantly.
It depends upon when the bank actually makes the exchange, not when you
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
And you have no control over that. And
Mm-hmm.
the customer doesn't always see that, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think this is what more people do need to understand is I don't have control over the exchange rates.
Yeah.
As much as
I
I
wish
wish
you did. I think you would
exactly,
be very kind with it, but
yeah, exactly. As you said, as much as I wish I could control the exchange rates and how shipping works, I would. But if I lowered the price of my shipping, I'd be cutting into how much I'm paying for my stock.
well, you have to make a living yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
can't short yourself in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
um, people have to realize there are boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
anyway, totally off of business. Um, I am glad that you have so many U.S. customers.
Yes,
Um,
I do have. I mainly have two US customers, but I do get the odd one here and there now and again. New customers.
well, I've been called pretty odd.
um,
um,
but yeah, I love all my customers, and I do appreciate all of their purchases. But
so,
yeah, I do just look for the US.
are your U.S. customers individuals or retailers?
Individuals. I haven't had any discussions with any US yarn shops
Mm.
yet in terms of stocking yarn, mainly because I am still pretty small. I do have small following on Instagram and Facebook, um, and I don't stock a huge range of yarn. I do have a decent range of yarn, don't get me wrong, but not as much as many other dyers have.
Have you ever had any orders that overwhelmed you, that were like just really, really difficult to fulfill?
Um, Not. I think I mainly panic when I get my podcast yarn orders that I know have podcasts on YouTube because I want to give them the perfect skein, and I do panic that they'll receive it and they'll hate it. And
well, I'm sure you want to give everyone the perfect skein.
exactly, I do want to give everyone the perfect skein, but as many people, I hope, do work with hand dyed yarn, every scheme works up differently. One scheme that you
Exactly.
get from me one day could work up completely different to the same scheme you get from me a different day. It works up differently every time.
I do hope that when this conversation airs, um, that you will get more business from some of my followers. I don't have all that many, but I hope that some um, will at least look into your business and see the beautiful things that you have on offer.
Mm-hmm.
I myself am a cheapskate, and I really don't have very much money, so
I'm
I
a
go with
cheap.
I go with the budget yarns. Uh, and I have said before that I'm sort of afraid of posh yarns because what if I don't like what I've done and I can't undo it?
Mm-hmm. I
And
totally
that's
understand what you mean.
all that money that's down the drain.
Mm-hmm. I totally get what you mean. I tend to stick with my cheap acrylic yarn from the cheaper brands. I do have a good selection of hand dyed yarns that I own, but I just don't know what to do with them. Like I just
Now, when you crochet, you said you started out with amigurumi. Is that what you still do, or have you branched
no,
out into other things?
I don't do amigurumi anymore. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I I always mess it up.
That's my experience too.
I I tend to stick to shawls and blankets now, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I was just doing. This is going to be. Oops. This is with a Lion Brand mandala cake, but it's going to
It's
be a
very nice.
boomerang shawl. Now, it looks sort of dreary right now in the middle of the cake, but it'll be pretty in the end. Um, but yeah, I love shawls. I love that sort of thing.
Yeah, I do too.
So
Although
do you
I
do?
haven't had the luxury of keeping many of my projects because I tend to give them all away.
Me too. It's either gifts or donations. I never sell them because for me it's demeaning to really try to bargain with somebody on
Mm-hmm.
the value of my time and talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I know
Exactly.
there are people who do a lot of crochet and knitwork for production, and they do make a substantial amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And more power to them. I'm just not there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm. Do you write your own patterns? I've
No,
started
I
writing some of my own.
I
Go ahead.
do want to design my own pattern, and I have spoken to my husband about this. That I do want to design my own pattern, but with my job and trying to keep the business afloat, I haven't got round to starting that yet. Um, because I am trying to rotate stock all the time, and I'm trying to keep my job afloat, and I just haven't had the time to actually sit down and work something out. And I'm not good with maths, so that's another thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I was just in somebody else's chat, a live chat the other day that someone was talking about calculating how much yarn you have left based on the weight that you have
Mhm.
in the that remains, and what it states on the ball band to begin with. And I'm going, you see, algebra is relevant to everyday life,
Mhm.
and I always loved math, and I know people who didn't, and it's okay. Everybody loves different things,
Mhm.
but But that's the thing. Now, the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your dog.
My dog. My dog, he's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. He was born the day I got married. He was born
The
very day I got married. He was born. How old is he now? He's 5. He's 5 now. I don't know really what else to say. He's lovely.
Is he in the room? Can we see him?
No. I'll see if I can get him. Hang on. Oslo. Come on. Here's Oslo.
Oh, he's so cute. Look at that face. Oh my goodness gracious.
This is my little baby, aren't you?
Oh my goodness. And his face is saying, put me down right now.
He loves his cuddles. You're such an affectionate boy, aren't you? He could sleep in bed and have cuddles all day if you could. But obviously we have jobs and responsibilities, don't we? So we can't do that. Yeah, he loves his cuddles.
I love how you named your yarn company Paw Ply Yarn.
Yeah, that was it was my husband's idea. So I was trying to think of what to call my business, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to call it. Cause I wanted it to be different. I didn't want it to be like similar to any other yarn dyer. And my husband said, oh, what about Paw Ply Yarns? And I said, yes, I love that. And that's when I decided I was gonna use Oslo as my brand mascot. And yeah, he's the face of the business basically. He's on everything.
He's adorable. Well, everybody who knows me knows that I'm passionate about dogs. So, and that's probably what first attracted me was the name of your company. But then I learned more about you and what you offer. But it's still just Oslo, who's just so cute.
Yeah. Every time I go live on Instagram, everyone is asking for the dog rather than the yarn. Everyone loves the dog. They love to see him. And I love that. I love that people want to see other things other than the yarn. Although I am a yarn dyer and I do love it when people buy yarn from me, I love that they have an interest in something else other than the yarn.
Well, that goes back to what I was talking about, the unique selling proposition, the unique value proposition, where your business has a personality that goes beyond the yarn, where you have this perfectly wonderful dog. And particularly if you are allied with any kind of pet rescue organization or animal cruelty prevention organization, you could get a lot of mileage out of that.
Exactly.
Or, I suppose I should say kilometerage on your side of the pound, but you know what you know what I mean. That is something that sets you apart. It's your brand personality.
Exactly, and Oslo has such an awesome personality anyway. So I just wanted to bring that into the business. I wanted people to see that it's not just about the yarn. It's about it's just about supporting things you love, and whether that be the yarn or the dog. It's no different to me. Like, you love dogs. That's amazing. even if you don't like yarn, it's still
Mm-hmm.
nice to see that
Exactly.
support out there.
Now you said you haven't been to any yarn events yet because of
Mhm.
what's going on in the world. But when you go to them, do you envision taking him with you?
No, I have thought about it, but he when he goes out, he he can be ratty. He
Oh, I
doesn't
see.
he doesn't like going out.
Oh, he doesn't
He
like crowds.
Yeah, he's more of an indoor dog. He doesn't like loud noises. He doesn't like crowds. He likes his own
Oh,
comfort.
and because he's so cute, everybody would gang up on him,
Exactly.
and
And
that would make
he
him very
wasn't-
nervous.
yeah, I'd want him to be comfortable, and I think that would just put him in an uncomfortable position, and that's not something I could control. Um,
So you're a good doggy daddy that way.
yeah, I'd rather just leave him at home in the good care of my granddad and just make sure he's happy because that's all that matters to me. As long as he's happy, I'm happy.
Um, uh, like any kind of a dad, whether it's a dog or a human being. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah. He is totally beautiful. Give us another shot of his face. Oh, he's so cute. I just can't resist it. Ah. So, tell us more about you outside of the yarn.
That's
Um,
young. Wow. I don't do a lot when apart from going to work. So I work in a care home. Um, I work in the kitchen. So it's it can be very demanding, should I say, especially working with people with dementia and other other I don't know how to say it, other issues that can't be controlled, um, mobility issues and things like that. It can be very demanding, but I love it. I do love my job. I love the people I work with. Um, it's a really good job. But other than that, I don't really do a lot. I do like my gaming. Um, I play on the PlayStation and my Nintendo Switch and things like that. Um, Other than that, I don't really do a lot. I tend to just go to work, come home, play on my games, cuddle with Oslo, and then I go sleep. And it's pretty much like that all the time, to be honest. I'm not a very social person. I don't go out drinking or I don't go clubbing. I don't do any of that. I'm not interested in any of that kind of thing. Um, I can be social when I want to be. I'm quite happy like to go around with friends and go out for meals and stuff. But obviously we haven't been able to do that recently. But yeah, I don't do much. I'm not. I'm quite happy to laze around and cuddle the dog.
well, I'm not surprised to learn that you're in a job that sounds like um, it really incorporates a very caring nature.
Hmm.
Um, so that's, and I'm also not surprised to learn that you're not like a goer outer, someone who is like partying all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
very.
I, I did do that when I first turned 18. I did go out drinking a lot. Don't get me wrong, but now I just want to concentrate on my business and my job and Oslo and my marriage. I'm just happy the way things are at the moment. Um,
Are you comfortable telling us a little bit about your husband?
um, he, I don't even know what to say. He
It's
he
totally
goes,
up to you. You can say no.
he goes to university, or should I say, in America you call it school. Um, yeah, he goes to university. He works in a hospital. He knits, as I've said before. Um, what else? He's very much like me.
It sounds like you're you are describing someone who sounds like you, and it sounds like he has the same caring nature.
Yeah, he's very much like me. He loves to game and knit and have cuddles with the dog. He's very much like me in that sense. And yeah, we just love caring for the dog, and yeah, we're very similar. There's not much different about us, to be honest.
Okay. Well, we've been at it for almost an hour, so we should probably come to a close soon. If people want to find you, where would they go?
I'm on Instagram at PawPly. I think I'm Paw Ply Yarn Co on Instagram. I'm Paw Ply Yarn Co again on Facebook. I don't really post much on Facebook, so Instagram would be your best bet. And also my website at www.pawplyarns.com.
Exactly. Okay. And okay. And I will have all of those links in the description when I post this video too. So I told you I'm doing a series of these videos of men who are involved in yarn, and I expect to do this to post this a week from today, Monday. What is that? The
24th, I think.
24th, yes. And I will let you know in any case. There's fortunately there is nothing I have seen that needs to be edited, which makes it easy on me.
Yeah, exactly.
But I certainly hope that we will continue to increase our level of acquaintanceship and friendship, and that I hope that you will gain more friends from the exposure that you might gain from being on my channel.
Yeah,
I would
really
love it.
You.
Definitely. I would love it if you would point people toward. I will supply you with a link when it is ready to go up. And if you would point people toward me.
Yes, definitely.
So that they could see the link as well. And I want to thank you very much for joining me. And this has been a pleasure for me.
Yes,
I hope
amazing.
you've enjoyed it as well. Yeah.
I've loved it every minute.
Great. I want to thank you very, very much. And I'm going to click the end now. Okay?
No problem. Thanks for the interview.
Now. And thanks for everybody who's viewing. Thank you.
Thank you.